and allowing harvest operation. So and we named our operation file to be corn.ops. Once you named it, so you can remove the name from here. Whenever you like to write a new name, you can write here and say write. If you are writing without writing a name here, it's going to replace the editor. So the second step, once you finish this operation file, is to integrate it into the list of operation file, right? The one that was not reading. This list of operation file. I know it's already read for you, for some of you, but it was not reading for me. So if it's read for you, just click read and then give it an ID and here file name, and then you can have a description. Or else you go to the folder and list of operating file. So this is the one that I have created. ops.dat. I'm looking for that file. So here is the opsc.dat. You can open it in Notepad. Here, so you can copy this and print it here. I mean, paste it here. So now the ID, it should not be duplicated. You can give it an ID which is not given before. So 138 and 139, and the name that you gave. So the sample is just give it for simplicity they gave 138, then 138 with OPS. You can also change based on your naming. So we say corn, right? Corn.ops. So let's save this. And close the file, close the file, and then we go to the editor again. So in the editor, we need to read the sub area file. So we change the operation file. We put the list in the list of operation file. The sub step is you need to select which operation file you want to use. So get file from the sub area. So the winapex.sub was the one that we were using, and make it read. Okay, it's already read for the sub area, and you can see that it asks you to provide the operation table ID. So the ID is what?
139.
139. You type 139 and make it a run. and write it. First, you need to replace it. So now we have asked our model to use the one that we prepared. Now let's run it. Now it's already run. So you can see the output file. Most of you can see one of the output file. Let's see SY file. If you open it, it is still called for 30 years because we changed the simulation yield for 30, and this is the yield, the per yield for the specific operations that we have. Okay. And you can see that there is nitrogen stress, high nitrogen stress, because we didn't apply fertilizer in our operation, right?
Yeah.
Does everybody reach this point?
ለማስተካከል ነው እየሰራን እሱን ለማስተካከል ነው እየሰራን ያለነው።
For those of you who already did the run, I want you to use to change another operation file, the same form, but now this time you have fertilizer application. For those of you who didn't run, you will just route. Okay? Okay. Okay, the schedule is the same.
Yeah.
The plantation date, I think the harvest date is also the same, but this time we add fertilizer.
Schedule for examination.
I think create near about in the same example. Create RGS. Create RGS.
ፒዲኤፍ ላይ አለ።
ፒዲኤፍ ላይ የተለያዩ እንትኖች አሉ። ስኬጁሎች አሉ።
ፔጅ 40 ፔጅ 40 ይሄንን
Operation by Ichiyama method that step by step. From the step by step procedure, you can also use this as an example. And common operation is like the method. So it's common with and without fertilizer. It's the same idea. For without fertilizer, you are not applying, not apply, and for with fertilizer, you apply this amount. Do you really need to go on the same exact example, or just we need? Can we modify the with fertilizer? It's up to you. You need to add a fertilizer. So here, so in the operation file, this is where we modify. So again, get files. Choose choose the one that you have. Okay. Read. So this is the plowing time, second plowing time, third plowing time, and after that we did. We did plantation. But in the example with fertilizer, just on the date of plantation, we have an application of DAP, okay, DAP fertilizer. So we can insert here a row, insert a row to apply the fertilizer. You can have one in the same date, 6/15, and the tillage ID we use. What is the ID for fertilizer? 261, right?
Yeah.
261, and you use 0 and the same crop corn. Okay, but at OPV0 you specify the ID or the type of fertilizer. Okay, here we need to no, this is we need to provide the type of fertilizer. So here we apply DAP fertilizer. Okay, it says apply DAP fertilizer. So come to fertilizer database to see what is the ID for DAP fertilizer. So in the first flowchart file, you say get files for that and read it. Once you read it and go down, okay. So this one, this one is a urea type of fertilizer. If you remember, the type of fertilizer have different proportions than the nitrogen and others. So if you can see, for example, from here, from our step-by-step procedure, you can check. Yeah, 4600 is the urea type of fertilizer, and that fertilizer is about 18% of nitrate percentage. Okay, so for so 4600 is the urea. Where is 4600? Yeah, number 65. Okay, let me make it like this. One is visible. This is urea, and 1800 says 17, but you know the number of fertilizer. The number of nitrogen fraction for DAP says 0.18. Okay, so you can modify it here. 0.15. So you can modify the percentage of fraction of nitrogen for the DAP. 0.18, and let's say 73 is DAP. So since we modify this value, we need to write it. Say right. So because we have modified the nitrogen fraction for that. So that means in the operation file .ops. So here that is what? That is 73, right? Urea is 65. So in our example, first we apply that in the 15th of June. So that is 73. So you put 73 here. Okay? And here you need to apply the rate of application in kilogram per hectare for that. So in our example it says around 50 kilogram per hectare. Okay? The rest you can provide 0. Now we have applied that. Then the other application is urea in the 15th of July, July 15, and the same fertilizer in August 15. So July 15, that is after plantation. Here before harvest, you can insert your row U1. July 15, July is the 7th month. 15, the same fertilizer application ID used 261, but you change the type of fertilizer here. It is 65, right? Urea is 65.
Yeah.
We have seen it here. Urea is 65. And you put here the amount is 25 kilogram per hectare, and then you put 0 for the rest of the values. There is another fertilizer application again in August 15. The same fertilizer, U1, month 8, day 15, 261, 0 is the same crop, and the fertilizer is the same urea, and the amount is 25, right? I think 25. Yes, 25 kilograms per hectare. The rest is 0. So what we just incorporated from the one before is we incorporate fertilizer. But the date of plantation, the number of clouds, and the date of harvesting and killing is the same with the previous operation. So if you like to replace the previous value, you just write it. But you want, if you like to save the previous operation file as it is, and we like to create a new one, you can have another name here. Okay. So we already say corn. Now let's say 140, but you need to know it is corn with fertilizer. So in the description, we will write that it is corn with fertilizer application. Okay. So let's say it is 140, and then write it. Now remove this 140. If you get files, you have 140.ops. You know, and I need to go to the opsc.dat file in my folder. So you select .dat file. This opsc.dat. rename, edit. So remember, this is the one that we have added. We can say that this, the previous one, they say it is form without fertilizer. This is the description. For now, you can copy the same line and paste it here at the bottom. And let's say 140. And the name of the file is also 140. Remember. And let's say this is for with fertilizer. Is it visible for you guys? So this is what we learned. This is the previous one. This is the new one. So remember now which fertilizer is which fertilizer. Once you are done, you can just hit save and close it. Now you come back to the Apex editor, go to sub area, get files, select the WinApex.sub and read it. Now you can see that we have selected previously the ID for operation file 139. Now the new one is 140, the one that we use for with fertilizer is 140. Then you write it, and then you run it, and then you see your output. So now this is the output, and there is also a nitrogen phosphate, but it was somehow less than the one that we have before. And this shows you that even the amount of fertilizer is not sufficient enough to remove all the nitrogen phosphate. Questions? Conceptual questions or other questions? What is there?
Coming around to us.
Yeah,
Can you
they're not bad,
show
right?
can you show the assignment so that
Yeah, this one.
yes.
This is with no fertilizer and this is with fertilizer.
Okay.
And these are the common operations. You need to make it zoom, right?
Yes.
Then you like to see with fertilizer or without fertilizer?
No, it's fine. Just that maybe people are still working on the
Okay.
operation part.
Ini pun biar ya iya dapat jadi serang serang biar.
የግድቡ ነው። አዎ የእንትኑ አልመጣም። 140 አልመጣም እኔ ጋር። አዎ
Create cara, motor apa benar? Create cara.
አዎ ሰብ ኤሪያ ላይ ሪድ ስለው አይመጣም።
ሰብ ኤሪያ ላይ እንኳን ማስገባት
እዚህ ጋር 140 አስገብቼ ራይት ብዬዋለሁ። ከዛ በኋላ ረን ስለው
read it first. read አድርጉት ረን ስትለው አይሰራም።
አይመጣም እንደዚህ ይጠፋል።
ሲጋር Sini harus kita cepat.
ini cerang seru cara display
Guys, let me watch your file and how this brings some files. Then change our account, no? Go. Fertilizer database
ፔጅ ላይ ነው።
fertilizer አይደለም yes የትኛው ፋይል እንደነካው አስቸጋሪ ነገር የፒክስል አንዱ ችግር ምንድነው? ኤረሩን አይነግርም። ለምሳሌ ይሄኛውን እንወስደውና እዚህ ላይ
ባር አለ ኦፒኤስ ያነብ
ይሄ ነው
ኦፒኤስ እና እሷን ከተቀበለ እሷ ላይ ነው ችግሩ ማለት ነው። that file OPS የሚለውን file command ካለው አይሰራም።
ኦኬ
እሷን መፈለግ አስቸጋሪ ስለሆነ ፋይል ሪኩዌስት አደረግን።
ብትገቢ ነው ያሰጣል በዚህ ላይ here you know you have year 1, okay, planting and harvesting is complete in the first year. So the model is going to assume that you planted and harvested in the beginning year of simulation. Your simulation is 1980. It starts from 1990, right? 1990. Then it keeps using the same operation for the whole 30 years. So the model assumes that you are planting the same crop every time, every year. Does that make sense? So year 1 you have this, year 2 also you will have this. So it's going to use it for 30 years. Okay? But if you have a rotation, okay, you'll continue after year. What is year 2? You need to provide the crop for year 2. And similarly, if you have continuous rotation for 5-6 years, then you need to provide all the rotation here, year 2, year 3, and year 4. That means it will use that rotation in the model. But if you just provide 1 year and your simulation is 30 years, it's going to repeat it again. Okay. And also I noticed that there are some challenges with people of decreasing orders of months. Okay. So if you start your operation in June, now we have completed it in October. That is an increasing order, right? But for example, if you plant it in October, like for irrigation period, for example, you plant it in October, and the harvest will be in April or May, right? The other year. In that case, your number of months will decrease here, right? But the year should be year 2.
Okay.
It is planted in year 1 and harvested in year 2. And that means you will have 0 yield in year 1 because there's no harvest in year 1, but you will harvest in year 2. But without changing the year, if you have a decreasing order of months, then you will get trouble. Did you understand what I say?
Yes.
Yeah. So if your interest is to do crop rotation for experiment, okay, first year corn, for example, second year wheat, third year potato, and you just provide one after the other. This is year one. You copy everything here, or you just write by yourself. Year two, and then start plowing, start planting, start applying fertilizer. For year three, you have to do the same for the different type of crop to account for the rotation.
For example, what if I made I mean, for example, in November year one, if another cropping season starts and ends in the next year, next to this.
Yeah, so you start planting in November,
Yeah.
November
11.
11, and in year three, this you come to year three, and you harvest it. Let's say in March.
No, no, I wanna say just the year is year one, Jose. The
No.
first one.
So in the first year,
Yeah.
okay. So
No, no,
you can't forget this.
this one is year one.
You can't forget this. You are saying you planted it in October, right?
No, just in this cropping season, it ends in 10th month. Then in 11th month, if I start cropping,
That, that's
it's
fine.
possible. Okay.
So here, year one,
Mm.
continue year one
Yeah.
of November, you planted something.
Yeah.
Let's say November 15, 0. Let's say you planted a tomato that is 73. You can check the ID from here for tomato. I think it is 73. 72, right? So 72. And you do my application of fertilizer and others in year 2, probably March of day 15, let's say the same applies here. No. Day 15 here, this is a this tillage operation, you might have plantation here, and you might have harvesting in the month of.
So what will happen for the next 30 years? This replication can be repeated.
This will be repeated in 13 years.
Okay.
So you will have repeated in 2 years.
Okay.
Because you have 2 years operation.
Okay.
If you have 5 years operation, it will repeat itself after 5 years.
Okay.
If you have 5 years operation and still the number of years of simulation is 5 years, there is no repetition. Any question on this? Any conceptual question? How you like to? So the ID number and everything, once you familiarize yourself with that, it will be easy. If you like to add some conceptual question, we can discuss it. That is researchable question.
And just want to model materials for irrigation schedule. I'm not interested in fertilizer, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Only irrigation schedule.
yeah. So I'm
And its effect on yield,
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, that's possible. So you will not be. So this is just rainy season. That means we plant in month of June and harvest it in October. That is rainy season. We don't need irrigation for this case. But I will come here with the other assignment. Here is irrigating tomato with stress, with no stress. So in that case, the timing is start from February. Plant in February and harvest it in April. That's what we did in the northern part. I'm not sure if this is also the same here. So you can remove the fertilizer if you want to, okay, and do different irrigation schedule, okay, and then come up with optimal irrigation number for your plantation.
What do we do in the case of intercropping?
Oh, That is very interesting question. So, Fatih, do you want to say something on intercropping? No? Okay. So, the only thing that matters is when is that planted. Okay? We're asking intercropping. You alright? You. Okay. So, let's say this is a corn plantation. This is corn plantation. So, it is planted in June. Let's say we have planted some vegetable, let's say cabbage, inside the corn after the corn grows. So you just need the date. So let's say you have planted it in August. Okay, you provide here the date of plantation. Let's say the year 1, August 16, let's say. Okay, you do plantations of this crop. So plantation 136. Okay, 0. The only thing you change here is the ID for cabbage. Where is cabbage? So I think here, let me see. So cabbage, it is ID 53. Okay, if you come to ID 53, you get cabbage. So you include cabbage here, and then you provide uh, the heat unit for the cabbage. You need to compute again. Remember the heat unit calculator? You need to provide there, and here you need to provide the plant density of that cabbage. In that case, the model assumes that since the corn is not harvested, it is intercropping. Okay? Plantation appears before harvesting the corn. So the model assumes that it is intercropping. So they compute for water, they compute for soil nutrients, they compute for sunlight. And the yield will be estimated based on their computation.
That's the yield. Does the yield of corn only or cabbage or
So you get the both yield.
what is it?
Yeah, because you have intercropping. But the yield might be affected. For example, planting cabbage on open space will not give the same yield as intercrop cabbage because they are competing for nutrient, competing for water. Does that answer your question? Eh,
As you said, about the context where there's a planting variations are not. But if you apply simultaneously, like leguminous crop and cereal crops, simultaneous plantation, how can you manage it?
It's possible. So you see here, for example, we did a different operation on the same day. June 15, we did flower. On the same day, we did plantation. On the same day, we did fertilizer application. You can do the same day multiple operation. So another plantation is also possible on the same day.
And then when they change the color of the crop.
Yeah, so you just provide this information. So you change the date. The date of plantation will be the same, and you change the code here. And you just provide the respective heat unit.
Is it function of crop
Yeah,
made with plant?
and the heat unit is they say it is the heat unit or the unit that is required for the plant to get into the maturity level. So that's varying for the different type of crop. Yeah. It's also dependent on the temperature. That's why we compute it. So in some places the plant reach maturity soon, right? In some weather, and the same plant in some other weather it will take longer time to reach to maturity. So it's dependent on the weather as well.
I think this is very researchable point, which basically
Yeah.
we should interpret.
Yeah, that's what I like discussion. And so the idea of changing the codes and the numbers, then once you get working on it, will be familiar. So before coffee, we can round, and after coffee, we work on irrigation. We add irrigation schedule.
አንተ አልጨረሰም።
አልጨረሰም። እኛ እኮ ክሊክ ክሊክ ነው እንጂ እኔ እኮ አሁን ሪከርዶን የማደርገው እኮ ተመልሼ ለመስራትም ራሱ ሊቸግረኝ ይችላል። በጣም ይቸግራል ደግሞ ፕራክቲስ ይፈልጋል። ያው ፕራክቲስ ለማድረግ ደግሞ ሰው አጠገብ ወይ ደግሞ የሆነ ጋይድ የሚያደርግ
Eዚህ ላይ ነው ኢንተር AJRR.OPS cloud this looks like I think